Hello students, today's topic is about a sonnet on his 23rd birthday written by John Milton. This is Divya Kumari Meena, Assistant Professor of Government Girls College, Sikandra. Today we will discuss the poem on his 23rd birthday written by John Milton, who was born in 1608 and died in 1674. He was one of the greatest religious poet who was the firm believer of God. He wrote many great works. His period is divided into many parts according to the greatness of his word. In the earlier phase, he wrote Allegro, Second Penseroso, and the Mask Comus, and the Pastoral Elegy Lycidas on the death of his friend Edward. In the middle period of his literary career, he wrote Areopagitica, which expresses the freedom of liberty and freedom of expression. And in the last phase, he produced many great works like Paradise Lost, which was written in 1667, Paradise Regained, Samson Agonistes. So most of the works are based on his religion. This poem on his 23rd birthday is a sonnet. It is a Petrarchan sonnet which is divided into octave and sestet. The first 8 lines are octave and the last 6 lines are called sestet. So this sonnet was composed in 1631 and it was published in 1645. This sonnet shows a autobiographical note and personal feelings of poet, as in the first part, which is octave, the poet expresses his feeling of disappointment and frustration as he has completed his 23 years of his age, but he has not done anything apparently, and he has not achieved any greatness. He has not composed any great work in order to praise the greatness of God. Therefore, he shows a note of disappointment and frustration at his non-achievement. But in the sestet part, he realizes that everything is in God's hand, and though he has become mature physically, but he has not got inward ripeness, inward maturity of writing poetry. But he realizes that everything happens according to God's will, and whenever the right time will come, he will also produce great work. So he devotes himself completely towards God and feels that everything in the life is under the supervision and care of his God. Let us discuss the poem in detail. I am going to recite the octave part first. How soon had time, the subtle thief of youth, stolen on his wings my 23rd year. My hasting days fly on with full career, but my late spring no bud or blossom shoot. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth, that I to manhood am arrived so near, and inward ripeness doth much less appear, that some more timely happy spirits induce. Let us discuss the explanation of these lines. How soon hath time, the subtle thief of youth? How soon, how fast hath time, the subtle thief of youth? Subtle means cunning. So the time is called here cunning thief of youth, who has stolen time, has as the time has stolen the youth of the poet. Therefore the time is called cunning here. So the time is personified here, as the time has given the quality of a thief who has stolen the time very quickly. So how soon hath time, the subtle thief of youth? The time is a cunning thief who has stolen the time very speedily and quickly. Stolen on his wing my 3 and 20th year. The time has stolen on his wing, as the birds fly on his wing and disappears from the sight. In the same way, the time has stolen the 20 and 3. It means 23 years of the life of the poet very quickly. So it means when the poet was writing this poetry, he has completed his 23rd years, and he says that he has completed his 23 years and time has passed very quickly. My hasting days fly on with full career. My hasting days. The hasting means very fast and quick. So the so the time has passed very soon on his full career. So the time has passed very quickly, as if the time has flied. But my late spring no bud or blossom sooth. But my late spring. But the spring is the season, is the most beautiful season, and in the circle of a human beings, the spring is the youth time, and he says that his youth has passed, as he has completed his 23rd years of his lifetime. But no bud or blossom sooth, but any bird or any flower has not blossomed till that time. It means in his he has completed his 23 years, but he has not composed any great work. The poet wanted to write great work in the praise of God, but he has completed his 23rd years, but till that time he has not done any great work. So there is a sense of remorse or disappointment or the feeling of sadness that he has not done any, he has not utilized his time. Therefore he says that my latest springs, that his youth has been uh, passed and he is not able to write any great work. Perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth. Perhaps it may be possible that my semblance here means the resemblance, how he appears. So he says that his resemblance might deceive this truth. It may hide the truth. And the truth is that he has completed his 23 years of his age, but he does not appear that much mature. Therefore, as he looks like, his looking can hide the reality that he has become mature, that I to manhood am arrived so near. He here says that his resemblance may hide the reality that his youth has passed and now he is near to become a complete man. And a man is a mature person. A man does mature works. He has inward maturity, who spiritually and physically and mentally becomes mature, and a full mature person can be able to do any type of great works. So he says that I am going to reach at the manhood, and inward ripeness doth much less appear. And inward ripeness, it means the inward, he has his inward ripeness according to the time which he has spent, as he has reached at the age of 23rd. So he has become too much mature. He is near to his manhood, but he is not mature from inside. He has not become spiritually mature. So he says that inward ripeness doth much less appear, but through his works, through his poetic works, his inward maturity does not appears. That some more timely happy spirit in death. So he says that it is high time that so he says that he is less fortunate than those whose natural gifts bears fruit in proper period of time. So he thinks that it is high time that he himself should be in a position to produce some great poetic work. So in the octave part, Milton shows the point of disappointment, but in the sestet part, the mood will change. He shows the great faith in his God. I am going to recite the sestet part. Yet be it less or soon or slow, it should be still in strictness, measure, even to the same lot, however mean or high, toward which time leads me, and the will of heaven, all is if I have grace to use it so as ever in my great taskmaster's eyes. Yet be it less or soon or slow. It here refers to inward maturity or ripeness. So he says, now in this part he shows his firm belief in the greatness of God and says that it may be less or soon or slow. The inward ripeness or maturity may vary according to the person. Some people get it very quickly and some people get it very slow. It shall be still in strictest measure even. It has different measures which vary according to the persons to the same lot, however mean or high. The people who have same destiny, but some have it in meaner sense and some have it in higher sense, towards which time leads me. Wherever the time will lead me, or the will of God, heaven. So the will of heaven is the will of God. So he totally devote himself towards God and stops blaming the time and says that it will depend upon the time and the God of will when he will produce his great works. So he says that everything is, if I have grace to use it. So if the God will show the grace, means mercy upon him to use his quality, his poetic quality, as ever in my great taskmaster's eyes. As the great taskmaster here refers to the God, he feels that if the God will think him to be capable of writing or doing any great work, so everything is dependent upon the will of God. So he says that everything is under the supervision and care of God. So so he knows best what is good for him, and he feels that there is no need to be disappointed, and he shows his great faith in the God.